Well, first, I've always been interested in technology, so we'll start there. So very early on in my career, I adopted it as soon as it became available. I think I was one of the first owners in Colorado of an IBM PC, which is now the rough equivalent of a dinosaur. So it sort of has eventuated through my practice, really from the very beginning of when we could use it to make life easier for illustrations for clients, to just communicate financial concepts easier and more understandably to clients. So the technology I use today is really an outgrowth of all of that. As you know, we have a team of people, so we need to have instantaneous information available to all members of the team. So in our current arrangement, we have networked database computers that have all client data, all financial data for all of those clients, all market data, all investment data, all insurance data, and all available to all of our team members all the time. So the outgrowth today is pretty robust, but it didn't start that way. You mentioned the remote location. So here what we use is we have a voice over IP telephone system, and so if you were to dial my Denver office number and hit extension 116, I would pick up the phone right here. You would have no idea where I was located, and I could do that pretty much from anywhere in the world where I have a high-speed internet connection. In fact, that's the same exact setup for an office phone that I have in Denver. So voice over IP has made it very easy. The low-tech way to do that is just to forward it to your cell phone. Hopefully everybody in the world knows that by now, but that's the low-tech way to do it too. So we use voice over IP. It works extremely well for our remote locations when I'm somewhere else, and then also we have some team members that work remotely as well. So that's helpful. And the other technology that we use really is just high-speed internet connections for our laptop, notebook, or tablet computers. I think I mentioned to you that we just adopted the newest Sony iteration of the Windows 8 tablet, which has had a bit of a learning curve, which we're accomplishing, and that works extremely well. We use a VPN connection to the Denver office. So for example, the screen that you see here, that's actually our Denver office, and that's so that I've got real-time access to all of our files and information. Anything that we need that happens to be there while I'm here is very easy to get. Also, keeping track of the schedule, making sure I'm where I'm supposed to be is important. So that's all accomplished via a VPN, and the same thing is true there. As long as we are at a location where we have high-speed internet, that's readily available. The additional technology we use really is all smartphone related. We're power users of that, as you might imagine, so anything that I can do using my tablet, I can do just as easily using the most current iteration of a smartphone, which for me is a phablet, part phone, part tablet, which is the new Samsung Galaxy 2, which is, I'm accused of holding a phone book up to my head now, but it's not quite that bad. Well, I could call them using voice over IP or using a cell phone, either way, and this morning we chose the speakerphone so that you could be involved and listen to the interview. I hasten to add, you don't know who the clients are or where they live or any account numbers or any personal information of the client. But we use the cell phone, which is pretty rare. Normally I'd use the voice over IP for that. As far as the software itself is concerned, we use a very robust wealth management software system, which is called Money Guide Pro. It essentially does financial models that are extremely involved. The nice part about it is it communicates very simply to clients in terms of charts and graphs that are very easy to understand. So in the particular application this morning, when I called the client, I automatically had their financial plan, their net worth statement up on the screen at that time. The software program that we use at the moment is called Adobe Connect. There are several versions of that software, but fundamentally it's a screen sharing software. It goes by other names. They have WebEx. I understand now you can have a Google Hangout. Skype is wonderful when we call international clients, but the limitation to Skype is currently they can't see the other things that are on my screen, so we did not use Skype this morning. So that software program we used, and then of course The other pages that I went through with that particular client really are typical Office applications that come out of Microsoft Office. So it was a Microsoft Word document, and then a PDF which we ran for the client that had to do with their portfolio using Morningstar Workstation. So those were the applications we used this morning. Very often I'll have illustrations if we're talking about an annuity or a life insurance policy or something that that requires an illustration to be discussed, and I'll have that up, but this morning did not include that. One is called Dragon, Naturally Speaking, and that's where we essentially are dictating emails and dictating client communications using our computer. We have been using CopyTalk for dictations for over 10 years, and the accuracy of CopyTalk is generally slightly better, and so we're still using that. So at the end of every interview that I have with a client, I'll take a few minutes to dictate the results of the interview for our records, and then also dictate the actions that are needed to implement whatever we're trying to get accomplished for that particular client at that time. CopyTalk is readily available. I think we pay $60 or $80 a month to have the pleasure of sending unlimited 4-minute emails. And so I do that to email our staff and our computer operator who keeps all the data fresh and updated in our system. I do not know a highly successful advisor who has not fully embraced technology. So my advice to advisors is embrace technology. To the extent that someone may have fear of it or be uncomfortable with it, you can hire people. You can go to Apple Genius classes at the Apple Store. You can go to the Microsoft classes at the Microsoft Store. But whatever you need to do to embrace technology, I highly recommend. It is not going away. It is making our lives easier, and will continue to do so, I think, exponentially. So that's my first advice to advisors, is embrace it. And to those of us more mature or seasoned advisors, I'm saying that personally, I think you have to have a desire to embrace new technology, because it's very easy to get stuck in whatever the older level of technology is. And in fact, the next generation of folks are fully embracing the newest technology. We need to be also, if we want to communicate well with them. So that's the advice I have.